Hello everybody, this is the Almighty DF here, and welcome back to part 3 of the top 25 modern best episodes of SpongeBob. So this will be the last part where we'll be talking about modern episodes of SpongeBob. Parts 4 and 5, which will be in November and December, we'll be talking about classic episodes. So this will be the last part we ever get to see modern SpongeBob in this video. So, let's get started off with number 15. At number 15, The Bad Guy Club for Villains. This is a sister episode to an episode that a lot of people don't like, which was Back to the Past. And with that episode being 16 minutes, The Bad Guy Club for Villains was like around 7 minutes. It's similar to Shanghai and Gary Takes a Bath. And this is why this episode works. It's mostly 7 minutes, and it shows that how it can be very cheesy. In this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick are watching the lost episode of Merman and Barnacle Boy, which the premise is basically a parody of the 1960s Batman TV show. And that's what makes it funny. Both Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are portrayed as like 1960s Batman and Robin. But if I do have to criticize one fact, is that I know in Back to the Past they got Adam West to play as Mermaid Man. But how come they got Ernest Borgnine playing Mermaid Man when he, like, in his young age? That's what I just criticized about this episode. Everything else was just okay and simple for a SpongeBob episode. At number 14, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 6, the motion picture. This is kind of the last time that we get an actual centered Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episode before they stop doing the numbers. In this episode, after getting kicked out of the Mermaid and Barnacle Boy fan club because of accusing the actors in the movie, SpongeBob and Patrick decide that they should make a Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy movie with the real duo instead of just actors. And yet they do that, and throughout this episode, every time they tried, SpongeBob gets crazier and crazier. He tries his best to make the perfect movie, and we get a very good inspirational speech from Merman himself. And the great Ernest Borgnine, you rest in peace, sir. Everything else in this episode was really, actually pretty good. Like, we get to see how SpongeBob and the gang are just, relaxing, doing the movie. And best part is Squidward doing the makeup for Mermaid and Barnacle Boy. It is some of the best gruesome imagery you can see that's done right in SpongeBob. So, I really have not much to say about this episode, but it's good. Number 13, people! Number 13, Not Normal and Gone. This is an episode paired up together, and I'm going to start with Not Normal. Not Normal is an episode where SpongeBob decides to become normal after Squidward says that he's too quirky and too silly. So after watching an instruction video, SpongeBob decided that he should be normal for a change. And this normality continues to wear on him. As when he's making Krabby Patties, it starts to become paper, which it loses its charm. Patrick starts to lose interest in SpongeBob, and Squidward thinks that he's too normal for SpongeBob. So he decides that he should get help from Patrick to fix his quirkiness, and then at the end, it somehow scared the normality of SpongeBob that Squidward became normal. It's a very confusing ending, but it's like that. And now let's go into Gone. Gone is like a post-apocalyptic episode with SpongeBob characters. In this episode, SpongeBob notices that there's no one else in Bikini Bottom but himself. He starts to go crazy, falls in love with a car. It was a little delusional, but it actually works. And this episode, some scenes kind of remind me of pre-SpongeBob, where like they use sexual innuendos to its best. And I gotta admit, it was some of the funniest gags I've seen. Especially the way how he turned so crazy at the end. And what is one downside I found about this episode? No SpongeBob Day. Literally, that's my problem. If there was the thing called No SpongeBob Day, why did everyone else in Bikini Bottom leave for almost like a week? it kind of didn't really make sense, and the holiday doesn't really make sense. And I didn't care. I just don't really know what to say about that, but it was something. Well, let's go on to number 12. Number 12, Dungeons and Dragons. This is the highest rated episode of SpongeBob of all time. And I really have to say, it is worth your money. Or worth your viewership. In this episode, Sponge and Patrick are going to a medieval fest. And they have been chosen to do a jousting match. But unfortunately, they go back in time to the medieval ages where they must stop Planktonomor from destroying the Bikini Bottom Renaissance. So they meet up with Sandy, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs' ancestors, and they do really good impressions, especially Squidward's ancestor singing. It was pretty funny. Another funny thing I found about this episode is like how they use like medieval puns like "Dost thou talk it to me?" It was pretty funny, and the weirdest thing is that this feels like this actually came out from pre-SpongeBob, and no, this is a postmodern episode of SpongeBob, and the viewership, holy crap! Like the viewership in this episode was freaking amazing. Out of all the SpongeBob episodes, like I said, the highest rated SpongeBob episode of all time. It actually got about like let's see, yep, it got about 8.6 million viewers, making it the most successful episode of the season. So guys, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, a good episode. I recommend you watching this. Go buy it on DVD or VHS if they have that. So, let's go on to some modern honorable mentions. Sandcastles in the Sand. This was an episode where the action scenes were good, but the writing I found just very tedious and... SpongeBob's Last Stand. Just like the first movie, this was also going to be the last episode for the show, but Nickelodeon wanted to continue on more. While SpongeBob's Last Stand was a good special, the message is downright. The Sewers of Bikini Bottom. This is actually a decent episode that it shows how Squidward and SpongeBob can work together as a duo, just like Brian and Food Con Castaways. I just have to say this out. This is just Club SpongeBob but with Mr. Krabs, and with the characters being stuck in the forest. And that's just mostly it, but I thought the episode was pretty decent. Now, let's go on to number 1. The best modern episode of SpongeBob is It's a SpongeBob Christmas. Wow. And I was actually pretty excited when they announced that there were going to be a second SpongeBob Christmas special. I was getting ready. And second, what do I like about this one? It's stop motion. This feels like this came out of Robot Chicken, but not. This was actually animated by Screen Novelties, you know. The guys who did like the stop motion segments for both Chowder and Flapjack. But everything else, it is like this is a good Christmas special. So what is it about? So Plankton creates a new type of fruitcake called Jerktonium fruitcake, which whenever someone eats it, they turn into a jerk. And this is why I like the episode. It shows how how creative the crew at SpongeBob can actually be. Like, I was like saying to myself, wow. This episode first aired on CBS, but removing the patchy segments, making it about like 16 minutes long. But with the patchy segments on Nickelodeon, it was pretty good. And the Nickelodeon version came out on my birthday on December 6, 2012. And like I said, wow. Oh. Another thing I like is the song. There's a song that played in the episode, which I can't play because of Viacom, which is called Don't Be a Jerk, It's Christmas, played and written by Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob. I really have to say that it was remarkable in how we've seen SpongeBob grown in the 2010s and kind of like in the mid 2000s. So that's why I consider It's a SpongeBob Christmas to be the best modern episode of SpongeBob. And parts 4 and 5, we're gonna get to classic. I've been waiting to talk about classic SpongeBob, and we're gonna get to that in November and in December. So guys, hope you like this video. Share and subscribe. And this is the Almighty DF signing out. Before I officially end the video, I would like to say happy birthday to one of my friends, Macina. Macina was a friend of mine that I had met back in 8th grade, like at the Rogers Middle School. We were good friends. We were like casual. We kind of like we talked a lot. We were in a way acquaintances. So if you see this, Macina, happy birthday, and I hope I got your age correctly. So guys.